Can you multiply yourself?
That would be weird. I would not like that.
Probably.
It's just intimate.
I whistle really loud.
It's like Tiny Desk.
You know what we should do is that we should make a picture.
Oh, yeah,
of
it's
all of
Tiny
us singing-
Desk.
us singing
I'm
the
really
line
gonna scream
and
at that.
Photoshop it so it just looks like in the picture you made.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, appreciate it.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Thank you. Are we good live stream wise? Are we rolling? Okay, perfect. All right, hello everybody. I'm Deborah Davis, songwriting faculty here at LA College of Music. Yay! That sounded like a lot of people. Oh, it is a lot of people. Look at that. So this is our collaborative showcase 3. So there were 3 sections of this course this quarter, and we have 5 students in this class, and I'll tell you a little bit about the nature of this course. Hi, David. I know your silhouette. So these songs are all co-writes, and we did it by prompt. The students had 4 prompts to write to over the quarter, and we rotated who they were writing with. So each prompt they wrote with a different person, but since this was a smaller group, only of 5, there were some, there was some repetition of who you were writing with, but different configurations. So we do have 2 students who are unable to be here tonight. So even though they were co-writes, some of the songs will be represented with just 1 person. Or maybe it would have been 3 and now it's 2, but like I was saying, champions adjust, and these guys are, they're going above and beyond to make it great for you. Yes, let's hear it. Arsalan, Camdeen, and Gray. Yay. Save the day. Okay, so that's the nature of it, and I'll come up and I'll talk about each prompt before they play their songs for that prompt, so you'll kind of get the idea. But let me introduce our fabulous panelists. Okay. Rashad Richardson does creative music searches, music clearance, and music supervision. He has partnerships in place with creative teams and publishers in more than 5 countries and has pitched and licensed music that has landed in projects seen on Amazon Prime, Hulu, ABC, CBS, Netflix, and more. He has his own publishing and sync company called Madden Flow Entertainment. Let's hear it for Rashad Richardson. Michael Ames is president of Penn Music Group, a full-service independent music publishing company representing the catalogs of writer-artists, including Grammy-nominated Wendy Waldman, Julia Fordham, Liz Wright, Gina Schock, many others. They represent writers and producers. They have cuts on albums by the Black Eyed Peas, Kendrick Lamar, Jason Mraz, Selena Gomez, to name a few, and rep a roster of indie artists and up-and-coming bands, including James Day, Shy Boy, Mikey Wax. Prior to starting Penn Music, Michael oversaw the international and film and TV departments of Don Williams Music Group, with the catalogs of Jimi Hendrix, Chicago, and Roy Orbison, among others. Please welcome Michael Ames. Happy to have you guys back. So the first prompt was to write an end title song for a film. And this is a short film, so we're going to show it to you now. It's about 10, 11 minutes. And we talked about having the songwriters, how you want to capture the essence of the film rather than a retelling of what happened, in your song throughout the movie. Maybe just glean a certain theme or main message from the film and highlight that in your song. It could be a line of dialogue that you pick up on, a relationship, or just an emotion that is a common thread throughout the film. It could be some of how it all wraps up, but just choosing one thing and focusing your end title song on that to express, so that when the viewers are watching that last scene, and the credits are rolling, there's still the feeling that they got from the film is supported and complemented by that song. So we're going to start right out with Gray and Cambine, right? Yes, come on. Oh, no, we're not. I'm going to show you the film first. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. We're going to show you the movie so that you know.
Jesus Christ. Mate, if you're looking for the Arabic option, go back a screen. Have you got a problem? What are you doing? It's a cash point. Have you got a problem? It's a cash point.
I know it's a cash point. So what exactly is your problem?
It's not a fruit machine, is it, Abdul? You put your card in, then take your cash out.
What did you call me?
Abdul, Ahmed, whatever. Oh, scary. You ISIS? Gonna chop your head off? Are you done?
Prick.
Bye-bye.
You know, I'd like to introduce you to our CEO and founder, Samir Aziz.
Okay, sure.
Just a quick hello before we can make you an official offer.
Sure.
You should fit in well here.
Thanks. Means a lot.
Give me 2 minutes, I'll just see where he is.
Really good to have met you, Alistair. Good luck.
Thanks.
He's not the finished article, but he's honest and keen to learn, and yeah, I want to offer him the job.
Okay, that's good.
Hi, Alistair. I'm Samir.
Oh, good to meet you.
Sorry, do we know each other?
I don't think so.
You seem so familiar. Are you sure you don't know me?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. You're that guy.
Sorry?
That guy from the cash point.
I'm really sorry, I don't remember you. change?
No, sorry.
Mr. Aziz?
Sorry, do I know you?
Yeah. You interviewed me for a job I never got.
I don't think so.
Years ago. Yeah, you did. You had an office with, was it green curtains? And reindeer heads?
Yeah, that's right.
Look, it's been really difficult for us, to be honest with you. I'm waiting for a room, and I sat there a couple of weeks. Just need something to tide me over till I get back on my feet. But Ryan must give me that job.
I'm really sorry, I don't remember.
Don't worry, mate, it's fine.
Look, let me find a cashman. I'll be right back. I should tie you up for a couple of weeks.
Are you sure, mate? Really? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Make today the first day everything falls into place for you.
Will. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Look after yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz.
You just put the sand in the bucket. Flatten it out. So yeah, you put the sand in there.
On taxi. Don't want you catching germs.
Bye.
He's all there. He can process all the information. He sees, hears, can think like you and me. But he just finds it difficult to express himself. But we're working on that. Aren't we, Sammy? Yes, that's good. This is Alistair. Alistair's a volunteer. He's here to help the residents. Do you want a couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
I'll leave you two together. Alistair's lovely. Any problems, just buzz.
Sure.
Sammy, my name's Alistair and I'm going to look after you, so don't you worry about a thing. Tomorrow morning, we could go for a nice stroll in the garden. Would you like that? Well, I'll take that as a yes. Yeah. Do I know you?
is Gray.
And my name is Kamdeen.
And this is our song for the end title theme, Circles.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Everything's been the same since the dawn of time. Stories don't change. Every time that you feel something in you, must be a feeling they felt before too. I don't want to hurt you like I did. I don't mind putting pride aside so we can live in everything's been the same since the dawn of time. Stories don't change. Every time that you feel something in you, must be a feeling they felt before too. 'Cause I don't want to hurt you like I did. I don't mind putting pride aside so we can live in
Oh, can you turn on the panelist mic?
Test. Great job, y'all. That was amazing, both execution of the songwriting, great performance. So I'll go ahead and just zone in more on the exercise at hand, which was, writing specifically to this and tying this in. I thought you both did a masterful job at not being what's called too on the nose. You know, you hint at the lyrical themes. You hint at the theme of the short film with the circling patterns. So I just I feel like it was just very well executed in the writing and in the actual performance. And yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up by saying I also love the chord progression that you all went with. I feel like it really ties in the somber sort of touch of melancholy within the chord progression just is very well complements the score and composition and just feeling you get from watching this, because you see the good happening, but you still feel that anytime you see someone aging over time, you start feeling a little sentimental. But yeah, so I'll hand it over. But I really think you both killed it.
Yeah, no, excuse me. I agreed with actually everything Rashad said. I think the thing I would be curious to ask you guys is, because you have, you've labeled it, and of course, what I always find good and bad at the same time is when you're reading along with a lyric sheet as you're listening to a song, right? Because in some ways it already sort of not gives away the structure, but I can kind of see how you were thinking. Given that you have the chorus that repeats, I'm curious why you chose to do the refrain repeating each time as opposed to having if you want to call the refrain a verse and the second refrain, was it a conscious decision not to have a different set of lyrics, and if so, why?
Yeah, I would say so. It's not either of our usual writing style, but we figured maybe do a refrain and a chorus because it literally ties in exactly to the song. The point of the song is all these, the beginning of the film shows obviously racist prejudice, and that's something that has been around for a really long time, and I feel like it's something that when you learn more about it and you look into it, it feels really stuck in some ways. Obviously we progress as a society in a lot of ways, but
right.
There's still a lot of prejudice lying around in a lot of ways, and I think we were just trying to embody that feeling. But I do agree, I think maybe we could have changed some lines in the refrain just to give it a little bit of a dynamic, but it was our main purpose, yeah.
Well, I figured it's partially why I wanted to ask, because I figured that was on purpose.
Yes.
And therefore I wanted to ask why. It's not that it was bad or I felt that there was something missing, right? I mean, I guess the maybe, as you just suggested, maybe a few minor, things that sort of would be different. I'm trying to think back here, because I agree with what Rashad was saying too, the story, and, it was kind of an interesting, I've never been a big short film guy, right? But I found this one pretty interesting, so I'll ask separately how, Deborah, you found it. You sort of chose it, right? But, so I think at least with accomplishing what the prompt was for you to do it, you guys did a great job. I think, I was just sort of debating, if I were to have changed anything in that second refrain, what would it have been, or what to sort of refer to? But again, it's not anything that's negative or detracting. I think it's, I think the interesting part of the story is just sort of it's the circles, right? Life is cyclical, and all these different things can happen, and we change, and then obviously someone's behavior changes somebody else's. So I think it was entirely appropriate what you did, but was just kind of curious. So thank you for answering the question.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So where did you find the film?
Oh, well, I just went searching, many quarters ago when this class first ran, different short films, because I knew, we couldn't show obviously.
Sure, yeah.
and a lot of them, most of them had some sort of romantic relationship as its main theme, and I thought it would be better to have it be about friendship or something that was just more about humanity.
Sure.
So
Love that.
that's what drew me to that.
Yeah,
Then
and
I
bless
started
you for
thinking-
that, because I can tell you guys, as the songwriters in the class, like literally the thing that we are constantly harping on our writers about is please stop writing songs about romantic love.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
We're I want to say it, we're tired of it. I'm married. I'm well in touch with romantic love, but there's just so many songs. It's just like 8 times out of 10 we get new songs delivered to us by our writers, and it's like, oh wow, shocker! It's about a relationship.
Yeah.
A romantic relationship. So our head of sync has a T-shirt that I need to find, and it's something like basically it's all about platonic love. Was sort of her T-shirt.
Great.
So we're like, if we can ever find the source of it, we're going to buy one for every single one of our writers. At least half the time, don't write a song about romantic love.
That's good.
Anyways, moving on. Good job, guys.
Hello, 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 hello. So my name is Arsalan Jamil. I'm from Pakistan. I landed here last year in October. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and I play the guitar as well. So a little bit about this short film that Deb played to us in the first week. Just like you said, I'm not exactly usually a big fan of short films, but this was truly struck a chord because I personally believe that the answer to the world's problems, at least the roots of the answer to all the world's problems, is love. And acting out of love for one another rather than, these fake, false ideas of, that any of us are different. We're all connected, the animals, the trees, all of us living beings, and it captures that beautifully. So without much further ado, I originally wrote the song with Doris and Peter, but I'm here doing it by myself. So, this one's called Bruises. It's the other day when I first seen your face. Castles in the sand, didn't even ask your name, but hey, I'd ask you tomorrow. Just the other day, I ran into a man, spoke words of your hatred. Patiently I stand, I said, hey, you're not here tomorrow. The winds they blow, the seasons change, who stands tall on tomorrow won't always be this way. We all got bruises that we can hide away, so let love in along the way. Hey. Just yesterday I saw him again, looking for food and some shelter. I lent out my hand, only God can judge us. I'll tell you, my friends, get on your feet and keep
better times ahead. The winds they blow, the seasons change. We stand tall on the morrow. It won't always be this way. We own our bruises, that we can hide away. So let love in along the way. Hey. Today I met a man, his hair feeling gray, pushed me around the corner, then back around the same. I said, before you go, won't you tell me your name? And he said, tell you tomorrow.
I guess Rashad and I will trade off. First of all, overall, great job. You guys, I think, all satisfied the intent, right, of the prompt and the pitch. What's really interesting too, I think, for me on this one, and we'll see how Rashad feels when we go to him, but you know, I think Arsalan, in this one, I really like your chorus. Okay, and what I think for me, and I try to put myself in the head of a filmmaker, which I'm not, so it's a little hard to do that very well. But you know, especially in this context, when it's a short film, right? We saw the whole thing in 11 minutes. I totally see why you made the choices that you did, and they weren't bad choices. But in the verses for this, there was, you know, some of the castles on the sand and all of that were, to me, maybe as far as especially having the song exist in other contexts, was so specific to this that I think it's possible a filmmaker might be like, hey, that's a little bit too over the head, only on the verses. But I think but I also really like the melody and the juxtaposition that you sort of, in a way, you're telling your own story, right? In the verses, you're basing it on this, obviously. Maybe a little bit too obviously, which is my only sort of reaction. But, you know, I especially like your last, you know, verse where it's just sort of like, you know, hey, what's your name? And it's sort of like, oh, well, I'll tell you tomorrow, right? So you're ending on a positive note of like, hey, you're here, you're helping me, we've just done this, and, you know, you're starting something, you're building something, right? Which I think is good. And I think in general, I would just maybe be like, hey, if you were doing this again, take that sort of same story and juxtaposition and still apply it to this, but just maybe some of those lines that cited some of the specific examples be a little less specificity. That's a hard word to say sometimes. But otherwise, I just thought your chorus was great. And, you know, actually, I meant to comment on first for Condine and Gray. You know, I think too, with both of your songs, I was also trying to imagine the score of this, you know, was so string driven. So it was either a solo string or string quartet, right, for a lot of this sort of score. And I think even in both songs, but especially yours, Arsalan, as you were doing it, I could just sort of hear, you know, sort of a violin or something, you know. I'm a sucker for a cello, personally, so like I could totally feel like a cello thing to also then have the song tie in that much more sort of to the score. So I'm gonna shut up now. But good job. You should feel good about what you did.
Yes, I echo a lot of this. That is a brilliant thought, by the way, of just like having organic strings back of your vocals. That would be really great. By the way, your vocals alone are very great, as well as your performance of this tune. Shout out to you for carrying the squad. Seriously. I will also go ahead and add that you also executed the melancholy, somber tone. You executed that well. It obviously, is very cohesive to what this short film is sonically. But to jump to the lyrics, I do have to echo the previous advice given. I felt like this was a bit on the nose, and the first verse was mentioned, and the castle is in the sand. But for me, when I saw the castle in the sand and heard the castle in the sand, I was like, that's a nice little subtle hint. And I thought you were gonna, that be the hint, and then you go ahead and take off and go in your own direction from there. But then it was in the second verse where it was like, spoke words of pure hatred. I'm like, okay, this is kind of like a scene. Each verse is like mirroring a scene, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd say, it'll be a good challenge to yourself. By the way, this is a brilliant exercise. So shout out to Deborah. This is, if I was,
definitely.
Yeah. But I would say to challenge yourself to continue to do exercises like this, in which you can. I think the magic here is maybe finding things that you can tie to this film, but also stand alone. That help this song can still stand alone and fit in different other contexts as well, or I guess I should say similar contexts, but just broaden it out a bit more so that it can still cover and be applicable to other nuances of similar, types of, emotional kind of projects. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. Yeah, great work, and
Thank you,
shout out.
guys.
Yeah.
Come on, let's whistle and clap again.
Yeah, well, and what I was going to say too, listening as Rashad was talking, I was just trying to add it up. I don't know if sort of your verses, if there were sort of like 5. In other words, did you have a verse that kind of like mirrored each of the 5 times that the two strangers met? But in your chorus, what I might consider sort of doing too, because now look, again, I'm not a lyric guy. I'm going to admit I'm a music guy, but I've also heard a lot of songs over my many years, because I'm way older than you, Arsalan. Is that, at first in the chorus I was like, okay, winds blow, seasons change, I've heard that, but what I think you might explore to even like do a version 2 of this song is sort of the last part of your chorus, which I think is really obviously you felt too that it was the strongest part, because that's why you named the song what you did. But just to be exploring into the, hey, we've all got bruises that we always can't hide away, that maybe there's a way to sort of develop that a bit. You did it for the prompt, and that's totally cool, and you did great. But just this song in a context other than this film, of trying to just take that concept in the chorus and try to flesh it out a little bit in other verses that have nothing to do with this, and, use that as maybe another exercise for yourself, because I think you had a nice nugget there that you can really kind of flesh out, which then would apply to other situations other than the one prompt, if that makes sense.
Definitely, thank you.
Bring that way down. Okay, the next prompt that they wrote to was to write an artist pitch So to write for an existing popular artist, but make it a duet. So they were to actually choose two artists and bring them together and then present it as a duet. I think, no, one of you have to do it by yourself. But yeah. But Peter created the track, didn't he? Or no, you guys got that. Okay, never mind. Well, at any rate, it would have been presented as a duet, but just use your imagination for that part. And they'll tell you about who they chose for their artists and why. So first up we have Arsalan and Camden.
Hello.
Okay, so for this song, we're pitching it to Justin Bieber and the Kid Laroi. And there wasn't really a reason that we chose these two artists. I mean, I like both of them. Arsalan likes both of them, also Doris. But we just thought, let's make something pop, and we landed on the song.
It's more like we just kind of went with the flow, went where the song took us, and we had a lot of fun writing it.
Yeah.
So this one's called Come True.
Lately, I'm thinking about you, baby. And I was thinking maybe I could get to know you. It's crazy how you got my heartbeat aching. Look at me, I'm breaking here without you. When you look in my eyes, what do you see? Just another stranger. What we could be. I know what you want, but you break free. Me to cancel your body, but I don't wanna know if it's in your bed tonight. Tell me, why should I sacrifice these lonely nights waiting up for you? Why don't you come through? Why don't you come through? When he's holding you, you know he's not the one. When the temperature rises, how can you be gone? When his lips on yours, are you thinking of me? Hiding in the covers, what could have been? I know you wanna, but you break free. I could be the key to your body, but I don't wanna know if he's in your bed tonight. Why should I sacrifice these lonely nights waiting up for you? Why don't you come through? Why don't you come through? Why don't you come through? Why don't you come through?
That was a really cool bob, and by the way, like I'm like actually a fan of the like when Justin Bieber and the Kid Laroi collab. I'm a huge fan. So like you know, the whole time y'all were playing that, I really was you know trying to envision like them, you know, just taking this verbatim. I think, like, first of all, let me just speak to the song itself. the song itself is great. I love the passion and the drive in the song. Now, to put it in the context of you pitching the song for Justin Bieber and Kid Laroi, I'm going to speak more to that strategy. I would say, you know, if you're pitching to them, try, like, was there a specific song of theirs that you used as a tonal reference?
Stay.
Oh, see. Okay. I think that's actually one of my favorite songs. So that's what I was wondering, just because I guess maybe if I heard your recording of this, I might. I hate to put you on the spot, but is there a way you can like kind of convey what the backbeat of the song would have been like, or the percussive elements of the song would have been like?
Definitely.
Like I don't know if you can like beatbox it or I don't know. Okay,
You
so
know,
yeah.
high, up tempo high, you know.
Got it.
Have some synths come in with the pads and.
Got it. So yeah, I think
and then,
that was
you know,
my
but mix it,
only-
and then mix that with some chorus and reverb on the guitar. You know, it's like.
Right. Okay, got it. I think it's great, man. It's just, I guess, you know, in this acoustic version, it felt more rocker. It felt more like even like a couple of eras, like maybe like late 90s, early 2000s-ish. But I think with the production around it, I see the vision, and especially that like back beat that you mentioned. I get how it connects. So with that being said, yeah, I don't want to. I don't know. How about I'll go ahead and bounce this off, and yeah. But great work though.
Yeah, I think, yes, you know, let's clap again. It's good, right? Because I'm sorry, I forget your name, but you know, you're like the emotional support. You've been labeled as the emotional support tonight. So
Big up for Nico!
yes, doing a great job.
We love you, Nico!
Constant clapping. I love it. She's taking this very seriously, and I think it's awesome. So this is going to sound a little dorky, maybe, and I know Justin Bieber more than I know Kid Laroi. Let me put that out there sort of first, right? But I think where I was, especially as you were describing the track, I think your melody, like, you know, knowing more of what Bieber has done, I would say melodically and everything, you're there. I'm imagining the track based on your masterful beatbox that you just did there. Nice job. I think where I was kind of like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, because we get put on the spot in these things, so we've got to come up with reasonably intelligent things to tell you on the spot. And I'm going to say for the moment that I was just a little bit confused, and here's why. I'm going to attempt to articulate this, okay? So, like, you know, your chorus, right, is kind of, it's a little angry, right? You know, sort of like the, hey, I don't want to know if he's there, tell me why I should, you know, sacrifice these lonely nights waiting up for you. Why don't you come through? And the first time you got to the chorus, I was kind of like, well, come through how exactly? Like, come through because you're going to blow off the other dude and come with me? You know, is that the sort of the come through, right? But in the pre-chorus to that chorus, though, it was kind of more, in a way, like positive. Like, hey, when you look into my eyes, do you sort of see, you know, what I'm wanting you to see and what we could be? And, you know, given the pop culture fascination of Barbie that was this year, you know, I thought it was a clever, you know, I can be your Ken to your Barbie, right? So this pre-chorus sets up a thing where it felt like, hey, come on, like think about what our future could be, and then we got to the chorus and you're pissed. So I was just sort of like, I'm a little thrown here, sort of on this, but then the other pre-chorus is almost a little more, you know, a little more angry because you're talking about his lips touching hers and all that kind of thing. So I was sort of like, you know, and as dorky as it sounds too, having had enough conversations with my A&R guy, you know, is Justin, I know nothing about Kid Leroy's love life. Let me put that out there. You may know more. But we all know that Justin is married to Haley. Is Justin gonna sort of feel that he can envision himself singing something like this? Because as far as we know, gossip papers notwithstanding, he's happily married, right? I don't know. Some artists think that way when they're sort of getting into a song. They're sort of like, can they identify with it? But I think I was more just like, all right, I wanted to kind of know, is the whole song wanting to be a little bit more on the I'm pissed off, why don't you just ditch him and come with me? Or we had that hint in that first pre-chorus of more like, hey, I want you to think about us. But I felt like that was the only part in which that existed. That was the only part of the song there. But so maybe somehow a way of tightening that up just to have the messaging be a little bit more consistent on the lyrics. But otherwise, I think your melody is there, like everything is there structurally. You know, let's blow out that beatbox thing. We can totally like see this happening. But that would be my only comment from the non-lyrical guy. You're getting lyrical commentary, but great job.
Thank you.
Yes, great job. And great advice. Goodness gracious.
Big round of applause for the emotional support. Woo!
That's great. Right? Great. Oh, yes. I thought you said that was great. I was like, yeah, it was great.
It was great. And Greg was great. And that Greg gets to go up alone.
Greg is great.
We are here to support you, Greg.
Greg is great. Support is kind of appreciated. This is the track.
Yes, I got it all good.
Hello, it's Gray again. This is a song I wrote with Peter, and the artists that we chose are Brent Fayaz and Snow Allegra. We listen to a lot of R&B. It's my main genre, so yes, I hope you enjoy. The song is called Somebody Else. Peter is singing first.
Baby, I'ma try to listen your mind, just a playing back in kind, using your big brown eyes and dark hair. You know the shit it isn't fair. You play with the end that you can't feel, and it's you is a great race. And I don't even feel special, bro, because now you leave me alone.
I know you feel the heat. I know you play it sweet. The
guess it's me, since we're trading off. First of all, I really like your voice.
Thank you.
And kudos to you for, Peter's not here, so I can't criticize Peter, but, I hope Peter knows and is seeing this afterwards that you went up on stage by yourself to sort of do that. So you already win tons of props. So here, and this is going to sound like, and maybe, sorry Peter, if you are watching this, you're not here, so I'm going to sort of pick on you, and here's how. So because he did the first verse and you were the second verse, they were too different for me, as far as sort of the consistency between the two. And so I guess since you guys wrote it together, and forgive me, I forget who you said you wrote it as a duet, right? And who was it for again? I forget.
For Brent Fayaz and Snow Allegra.
Okay. So I guess a few things. I think I would want, so Peter's part that he's saying, right? I'm not saying that would necessarily have to be the second verse, but I kind of wanted another element of that in there. Maybe that would have been a bridge after the chorus that you just finished with. But I really love the chorus, and I love your voice on the chorus, right? Because just the whole vibe of the track and the way you sort of end it with hey, before I go and meet somebody else, right? That just kind of puts that out there. It's got a vibe, and it works. So I think I feel like that foundation and rock is there for the chorus, but somehow with the verses, just getting them to be, I don't want to say similar to each other, but it's just more like a consistent through line with just sort of melodically what they're talking about. And then I feel like a song like this too, with the vibe that it has, you need some kind of bridge or break or something. Does it have to have lyrics? Not necessarily. Maybe just sort of an instrumental break, but then come back to the chorus. But I guess as a compliment to your chorus, I wanted to hear it one more time. Right? It was kind of too short for what it was, but it's got a really cool vibe. And that I think even though you wrote it as an artist pitch, Rashad and I are always having to deal with stuff on the sync side. And I just think that's got a cool sync vibe too. So you hit that one too. So good job, Gray.
Thank you.
Hey, Gray. Great job to you and Peter. I'll just start by saying, same way I love Stay, Justin Bieber, Kid Roy, I love Snow, I love Brent Fayaz. And they actually haven't collaborated as far as I know. So, yeah, that's why I was like, damn, you should be an A&R. That'd be dope to get them two in the studio together. And even beyond that, you and Peter executed this so well. I felt like I saw the potential of them, working together through your work. So hopefully that serves as the highest compliment. Great job executing that same sultry, floaty, beautiful vocal performance as Snow does and kills every time. You just killed it. I also love the lyrical theme that you chose here, which is, usually let's be real, Brent Fayaz is the king of toxic lyrics. So I love that you all just had only a little sprinkle of this could be toxic, but we don't want it to be toxic. And that works and is very palatable, absolutely in the sync space. But also, I feel like both of their artist friends, they would be, open to this lyrical theme and representing that as the artist brands that they are. And oh my God, the beat that you all chose, it sounds, I don't know, I'm not gonna dig too far into it, but it is literally so spot on. It's almost like y'all just typed in Brent Fayaz YouTube type beat and went in on it. But it absolutely made the case, helped make the case of, you know, why they would pick this song up. And I did want to echo previous advice. I think having Peter weaved in a bit more throughout this record would have been great. And beyond that, we know Brent Faiyaz does a lot of like ad-libs and really background harmony. So having Peter kind of emulate the way Brent Faiyaz would do that, if he kind of had, you know, soulful background harmonies throughout different parts of this record, that would have been literally the icing on the cake. But yeah, lastly, I'll just echo more advice of this song is really dope, that it should be longer. Like you gotta squeeze more out, in which I know is probably part of that is due to Peter's absence, so I understand that. But yeah, I want to say great work, and last but not least, just, you know, with my sync mind of things, I just want to say that I guess I have to shout out Deborah again. This exercise, while it's to, you know, like, you know, potentially sell your song to an artist, the skill that you're developing through this exercise is often used for sync success. Like, because all of our clients are always like, hey, we can't afford Snow Allegra, can we get something like Snow Allegra? So barring the fact that, you know, I don't know where you got this beat from, but if, say for instance, this beat was something that you all both, you know, created, this is something that could literally be pitched like right now to replace a Snow Allegra record, and ultimately you might will win out and land that placement. So, you know, keep doing this kind of exercise and honing your skills, and, you know, trying to be a chameleon. Like, you know, maybe if not Snow, Coco Jones or Summer Walker, like really just trying to be a chameleon. And yeah, between, you know, either landing an album placement or a sync placements, one is bound to come.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next prompt that they wrote to is to sell something. So they were to choose a commercial spot, like a TV commercial, and write a song. That spot, compliment that spot. So some of their songs in this exercise too are on the shorter side. They had to write at least a minute and a half. But if the spot is a little bit shorter, then I told them to just keep playing and I'll, you know, freeze it. But we will show you the spot that they chose. And we talked about, you know, again, capturing the feeling of what the company or whatever it is, a PSA, what they're trying to sell. Maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a feeling, an attitude, maybe it's a product, you know. But it seems like most commercials these days, like if you watch any of the Super Bowl commercials, especially because they're longer, sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to want to buy until you get to the very end of it, and then you see this little logo, you know, put up there. So it's more about a feeling, I think, these days with advertising. So they were supposed to write a song for a commercial that they chose. I forget who's first. Arslan, okay.
Can we have the forms when you have a second?
Yes.
standing at the edge, watching all that I could ever be. All these thoughts inside my head, crashing like the waves into the sea. To run across, to jump or fall, it don't matter. I'm gonna skip my destiny. So spread your wings, take to the sky. You'll never know how far you'll go if you can't take the lead. So spread your wings, and you will fly into brand new heights. All you have to do is take the lead. Take the Can't believe I forgot my own riff.
That's all good. Great work. I'll say in advance, it's a lot of processing that's happening on our end because we're trying to soak in the visuals, soak in your song, and then also peek at the lyrics as well. So bear with us as we process. I think first off, great song and great performance of the song. I think that obviously killed it on the lyrics. Let me actually,
I'll sing it again for you if you want.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I'm just recapping to make sure I'm not missing anything. But yeah, the lyrics are great, and also to counterpoint my previous note to you, I felt like you did a great job of not being on the nose on this. This is this could easily be applied. It works well for this. It can easily be applied to other brands, other just moments in sync TV and film. So great job there. I think based on what I saw, and I don't know if maybe this was just a timing issue by mistake or not, but the climax of your song felt like it was ahead of the climax of the visuals. I feel like the climax of this commercial is when the elderly fellow is like standing up and running down the hallway, or either he was walking down the hallway. I think that's where like the musical climax should pair with that visual. So I will say to your defense is, depending on whoever the editor is of the commercial, they might work that magic anyway, so that might not even necessarily be applicable. But if you, or I guess maybe I should just ask you this, like as you wrote that, was your intent to time it to
Not really, to be honest, no. I just wrote it, I was structuring it out.
Got it.
Yeah, it just, it's like when you're writing a song, they just take a life of their own, so I just let it go where it was taking me.
For sure. So in that case, this is what I would say as someone who pitches music for ads like this. If you are privileged enough to get your hands on visuals that you are like cooking up a song for, I know the song might want to take a life of its own, but you the daddy. You make sure that you are like, you seize every opportunity to have your song complement the visuals as much as possible. So that that within is my advice there. It's not gonna it's once you're at a certain level of artistry, I feel that brands are coming to you to custom make stuff to like an Adidas, but that moment hopefully will come, and when it does, just try to hit, mirror whatever's happening with the visuals when you have that opportunity.
Yeah, I gotta. Rashawn hit it on the head as far as we have so many inputs of processing as we're sort of sitting here, right? Because I'm actually, I know this is going to sound unoriginal, but I'm actually pretty much dittoing everything that he just said, right? I mean, first of all, kind of cool for you again. I don't know. I personally never saw this spot whenever it aired, or I don't know what was used originally, right? But I can see, I felt like the tone of the song that you took was great. I agree completely on sort of the edit, because what I was trying to sort of do as we're watching this thing and then trying to look at the lyric sheet is, if it was to be re-edited, would it have worked where the to jump or, like to run or crawl, because I don't think you actually sang to jump or fall. I think it was more to run or crawl.
It's jump or fall, and it's run or crawl.
And then to run and crawl. Somehow I think because, I'm trying to look at both, I think I only heard run or crawl, forgive me. But like trying to imagine that section, towards the end, as Rashad was just talking about, would that work? I don't know. It's hard. You'd have to play with it a little bit. But I agree with him about feeling like that felt like the peak, and the spot wasn't, probably wasn't even halfway done at that point. But that said, still the, spread your wings, all that kind of stuff, I thought still worked well for where it was. It was just sort of, it's kind of working out that tone, but again, that may be more of an editing thing, and you weren't really thinking about it as you wrote the song. So taking the song outside of that, I'd say, yeah, you absolutely did a great job, and I enjoyed it. But I think you were at the same time thinking of that as you wrote it, because I have a feeling it might have been in a slightly different structure a little bit, or maybe the thing we're commenting on that we wanted a bit later in the spot might have come later if you didn't, in your own mind, feel as if you were writing it for this. I'm repeating what Rashad just said, but given the comments that I had made to you earlier on the end title song about hitting it on the head, you totally didn't do that this time, right? So it totally, didn't feel, for something like this that's wanting to pull at your heartstrings, if you had hit it over the head, it would have taken away from that, and that didn't happen. So great job on that, because man, and yeah, if you ever do get the opportunity to write for something like this is the Super Bowl spot.
I'd probably keep the song for myself.
No,
I'm so protective of my songs. It's more like I would put this song on one of my albums.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, to be honest, I know the prompt was this spot, but I mean, look at what you're writing about, right, in the song. It's kind of a universal thing that we all think about, we all aspire to, we all care about, right? And those are the songs that I think are the ones that resonate the most. Maybe I'm making a jump, but I think you'll get my point, is that, the most active song that I have that gets used constantly is I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. And that's because you can take that chorus and put it into any kind of situation, from romantic to a family to an individual in a situation who achieves, and they've had, it's just...
It's universal.
Exactly, and what you're talking about here of the spreading your wings, etc., that's a universal sort of thing that can be grafted onto lots of things. So, I encourage you to take it for yourself, because those kind of songs it opens them up in the world of sync, because you'd be surprised sometimes someone will think about, oh no, I think that song will work well here, and here's why, and sure enough, they find uses that you never would have expected would have happened. So good job is the long story.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
What's crazy is like yesterday I played a show in Hollywood. There was like 200 people in the crowd. I wasn't tense at all, but I don't know, sitting in front of like 4 or 5, it's just like, I don't know. I feel the pressure so much more. It's crazy.
Totally get it. Which is why we're all clapping as loud as we can.
this song is one that I wrote with Cantina Doris, and we wrote it together, but I'm just the new one singing on it today, and Cantina's playing the guitar ever so well.
Is our time coming to an end? Can we do it all again instead? If this is our last day, I've got one thing left to say. One step, two steps, I take all my steps with you. Three steps, four more, we've worn out the same shoes. I'd find you in every rainbow, from red to green to blue. For my first love will always come back to you.
Oh, make me cry.
Seriously. Like, you know, we had to put one of my dogs down in January. I'm gonna like, I'm like, shit. Oh, sorry, this is being recorded. So, you know, honestly, you did a great job. I think there's only one comment that I would have, right? And that is that, and again, this is coming from a non-lyrical guy, okay? But the only thing I would maybe want you to try to look at, because obviously as we're watching the spot, again, Rashad and I are in the tough position of watching a spot, you're getting caught up in the spot, but yet we're trying to listen to your song and listen to the lyric, but look at the video and da-da-da-da-da. But the only line that kind of took me out of the story you were telling that went along with the visual was that I'd find you in every rainbow. So that's, for me, all the other lines, frankly, seem to work perfectly. I mean, obviously the commercial was cutting back and forth to different points in time, right, when she sort of had the dog, so I was trying to sort of follow that and feel, but I felt like generally that it still worked, the lyric that you had done, even with the edits of the timeline. But I think because of I don't mean this in a negative way, but all I can say is that line to me feels the most cliched of a rainbow. So if there could be some way that one line for me, which took me out of like, and in a weird way, I'm glad you took me out of it, because otherwise I probably would have been sobbing at the end, right? You know, because I'm just like, oh my God, my dog. You know, but for knowing that you started with this, getting to where you got there, great job. I love your voice again. Over to Rashad.
Hey y'all, great job. This was, I just felt like it was paired so perfectly. Like this was to a point where if we got this brief and your song was in our lover, it would absolutely be included in that pitch and shipped off. Like the lyrics were like, y'all did a great job of like hitting the mark and not you know, just being too on the nose. Yeah, like, and it's funny too, because like like I accidentally peeked at your lyrics when I was giving feedback on the last one, and I saw shoes in here, and I was like, and I was like, oh, are y'all doing the same ad? And if so, like, I was like, and so it's so refreshing to see that, like, this just proves like how this is a car ad, and y'all like are, you know, referencing shoes in here, and it still feels so like it still tells the story and echoes what's happening here, and not only that, the way you position everything you're referencing, and you know, everything just kind of coming into perspective. I also do like how you tied in the red, green, blue. At that point in the visuals, that's when the birthday cake was on, and you see the candles that are the different colors. I don't know if that inspired that lyric, but it definitely did. Okay, great. Cause yeah, and then and like also I see the title of the song is Colors too. It's a great song as a standalone song that can be taken like to other brands. It can be released as an artist, which I think that's ultimately that goal that we just talked about, things being a bit universal. And this has kind of checked that mark, as well as being a heavy hitter contender for this specific ad. So great work.
Thank you so much.
Going to, oh, sorry.
So the last prompt was to write a message song. So a song with a social message, civil rights, justice, peace, anything, but to give it a universal appeal, like we're talking about things being universal. And, you know, just like so many of those songs from Bob Marley to, you know, U2 or whatever, you could apply them to any situation, even if they were written in the 60s, you know, a Pete Seeger song or something I've seen in commercials in 2023. So something that has a universal and timeless appeal, a message song. So here they go. And they wrote this as a group, the whole class. This was like a writer's camp kind of thing.
So for our message, I'm sure as everyone in this room knows, there is a conflict happening with Israel and Palestine, and there have been a lot of innocent lives lost, and it's been really horrible, but we just thought that it was something that we should touch on because there's been far too many lives lost at this point, and there should have been a ceasefire before 20,000, around that number. Innocent people have been killed, and we just felt that with a lot of horrible situations that kind of happen, it becomes like a thing that, especially here in the West, we kind of start seeing through our screens, and then kind of become desensitized to it. So this is just about that, because I think more than anything it matters that we believe that innocent people just shouldn't die. That should be an important thing to believe in. So this is our song. How much blood is gonna fall?
great job of you know, getting the message across in a very palatable way. Yeah, I don't think there's really much feedback I can go in as far as like, you know, it's just really the point is executed in a beautiful way. I don't know how to comment more.
Yeah, I mean, you encapsulated and embodied a difficult subject, but one that is obviously emotional for all concerned, right? No matter your politics, no matter your position, you can't deny sort of what's been happening on both sides of this or any conflict, really. So I think you guys very deservedly were inspired by the subject matter and did something that's really good. The only thing I'm not coming up with a constructive way to sort of do it, but whether you intended it or not, for me, you came up with 2 choruses. Because your pre-chorus, if we, you know, because we, for better or for worse, right, we get lyric sheets, so we get to read along with them, and a lot of times, you know, you guys are going to label verse, pre-chorus, you know, et cetera, right? If I hadn't had the benefit, as it were, of looking at the lyric sheet, I might have said or felt that from a peak, an emotional peak of your song was your pre-chorus. But yet your chorus what was your chorus kind of was a more contemplative, stripped back commentary of the pre-chorus that had come before, right? So in some ways, to me, that kind of felt like 2 choruses. It's not that it didn't work. I think it worked. It was just, I don't know, as you wrote it, if you sort of felt like, hey, maybe our pre-chorus is the chorus. Does this make any bit of sense?
No, it makes total sense. I think the pre-chorus was more light than the chorus. I think we put more effort into it. But I understand what you're saying. I think, especially since it comes down so much, it feels more like a post-chorus than a chorus, maybe.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean, again, I hate putting labels on anything, but, you know, you did put the label that you did on the lyric sheet that we read, right? But from this also, to me, you know, you guys wrote it as a group, you've performed it as a partial group, but I also think, you know, it's one of these songs that lends itself well to sort of trade off of different lines, especially in the verse. So if there ever was a thing where you were kind of, you know, not in this context, but another performance and had a larger group, I would certainly encourage you to sort of, you know, do that. But I think, you know, the power of your pre-chorus notwithstanding, I think your chorus, even this, or post-chorus, if you want to call it that, almost also sort of requires either, actually, let me take back what I was just about to say. So like you guys started out singing together, right? So in some of the verses that say you got to sort of trade off, but what I think also could be sort of powerful is everyone who's on stage, when you get to that post-chorus and it's taking it down, everyone who maybe you had traded off before, everyone is singing in unison for that last, you know, sort of post-chorus bit. Because I particularly love the line, like, the fires of violence, the cries of the silenced. Like, it's not, again, being a non-lyrical guy, it's, you know, yeah, when you're rhyme, I just thought that was a great rhyme. So, kudos. But there you go. Any thoughts, questions? Do you want to kick Rashad and I out?
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, great job, y'all.
Well, no, you know, as Deborah said at the top, kudos to you guys. Maybe we're going to shame the ones that weren't here, but, you know, you guys getting up there and doing this is not an easy task. So congrats as a group and as individuals.
All right, let's hear it for Collaborative Showcase 3. Yay! And Thanks to our fabulous panelists, Rashad and Michael. Incredibly insightful feedback, really valuable. Thank you. And to Daniel and our sound people and live streaming. And to LACM. Yay, thank you.
And to Deborah, the instructor.
Yeah, shout out to Deborah.
Let's take a photo.